All right. Boy, talk about some picking and grinning. I just came back from down the hill there, and there are thousands and thousands of people. You'll see them shortly because we're going to all be heading down there a little bit later. But they got a great crowd down in the field, and the show's going well, and people are still coming in. Back in 1956, I got started in country music working on the Jimmy Dean show up in Washington, D.C., and I met a young man up there that we used to do a lot of shows together around Washington. It's good to see him again. He's now a resident of Nashville and performs on the Grand Ole Opry with our next act. My friend Joe Carroll back there on lead guitar. Let's give Joe a big hand. Joe travels on the road with these folks that are now setting up. Alisa plays the hammered dulcimer. I know a lot of you people here love the hammered dulcimer just like I do. Alisa Jones, there she is over there. She's a pretty gal, and she also plays the bass, as you can see. And her mother is here as well, a great lady of country music, one of the legends of country music, Ramona Jones, back here on the mandolin. Somebody once said, you're just as old or young as you feel, just as you smile or fret. And though you've lived 100 years, you may be a youngster yet. I think when Bob Dylan wrote that song, Forever Young, he was thinking about this next young gentleman because that's what he is, forever young. From Hee Haw and the Grand Ole Opry in Nashville, Tennessee, Brother Grandpa Jones and the Jones family.
Well, them folks that would, huh?
What's for supper?
Cornbread, turnip greens, candied yam, butter beans, blackberry cobbler, and all things rare. And the more to eat, the more to spare. Well, them folks that was just on here, well, ain't they something? But, oh. And I got to follow them. That's my look. Yeah. It'd be like following a bulldozer with a spoon. Well, hello there, stranger. How do you do? There's something I'd like to say to you now. Don't be surprised. You recognize I know detective, but I've just surmised that you're from the place where I long to be. The old smiling face seems to say to me, you're from my homeland, sunny homeland. Now tell me, can it be that you from Dixie? I said from Dixie, where the fields of cotton bacon to me. I'm glad to see you, to be happy you, and the friends I'm longing to see. Are you from Alabama, Tennessee, or Carolina? In a place below the Mason-Dixon line. Are you from Dixie? I said from Dixie. Oh, I'm from Dixie too. Well, it was a way back in '89. I crossed that old Mason-Dixon line. Gee, but I've yearned long to return to that old place that I left behind. Well, my home is way down in Alabama on an old plantation near Birmingham. There's one thing certain, I'm always flirting with those southbound trains that run to Dixie. I said to Dixie, where the fields of cotton bacon to me. I'm glad to see you, tell me happy you, and the friends I'm longing to see. Are you from Alabama, Tennessee, or Carolina? Any place below the Mason-Dixon line? Are you from Dixie? I said from Dixie. Oh, I'm from Dixie too. I mean, that's worse than working in the field. I mean the tobacco field. I'm from up in Kentucky, and that's what we done for years and years and years. Raised tobacco. And back then, you had to plant it with a peg, you know. Stick a hole in the ground and put the plant in there, and then put the ground around it. And my daddy, he'd go out just as soon as it got light enough and just work, and I had to follow him out there, you know. Well, one morning we got up early and got out there in the field about it's just getting daylight, and he being bent over all day, his back wouldn't straighten up, you know, too good. He's getting old, you know, and we planted from the early morning till right up to noon, just as hard as we could plant, all bent over that way. And my ma hollered, "Dinner's ready," out the back window, and we broke in a run for the house. And I run in the house, and he run under the porch. I like to mess that up, didn't I? Back in the 30s, I worked for. Who was it I worked for? No, worked for Lum and Abner. That's it, Lum and Abner. Well, we had what they called, when you get old, your mind slips. You know, that ain't all, I'll tell you that. And when... Lum and Abner had a show in Cleveland, Ohio, and I was part of the Pine Ridge String Band at that time, and they'd bring in people from all over, you know, and artists to play on the program. They called it the Friday Night Social at the Schoolhouse. That was radio now; it wasn't no TV. And they brought a couple of fellas from Switzerland, and they did a Swiss yodel. And me and this other boy that was with me, Harmonica Joe, me and him learned that Swiss yodel in the Swiss language, and we didn't know what we said, you know, and we didn't know what they said, and I don't know what I'm going to say when I sing it to you, but I want to try to do it for you, and it's pretty. Swiss yodel's pretty hard for me because I can't yodel in the first place. But then this way it goes. Yachts, years, I sharp a yacht. Yachts, tritzem, tra la la la. Stable and hum it kind of cha-cha. Tritzem, tra la la la. Stable and hum it kind of cha-cha. Belgian candy, oh diddle-ay, oh diddle-ay, diddle-oh. Belgian candy, oh diddle-ay, oh diddle-ay, oh. Got some tricky, tra la la la. Stable and hum it kind of cha-cha. Tricky, tra la la la. Stable and hum it kind of cha-cha. Belgian candy, oh diddle-ay, oh diddle-ay, oh diddle-oh. Belgian candy, oh diddle-ay, oh diddle-ay, ole. Thank you. Thank you so much. Judge, that's Joe's favorite tune. He knows I get choked on it, so that's really like. I'm going to turn it over to these two gals here, Ramona and Alisa Jones, and Alisa Wald it is added, and let them do something here. Okay.
Thanks, Dad.
Thank you.
We're going to get Joe to get the acoustic guitar and help us out on this song. We brought along the hammered dulcimer, a very old type of instrument, sometimes known as the poor man's piano. It has a lot of strings across the top. It has a very old-time sound. And Mother and I are going to do a tune together. I'll let her tell you what the name of it is.
Well, the dulcimer is real adaptable to old hoedowns, fiddle tunes, and breakdowns. And Lisa was sure brought up with a lot of that kind of music, and so she's going to do an old tune called Liberty.
Thank you very much. I asked Mom if she would play my favorite fiddle tune, and I'm going to let her tell you which one it is. I think it might be your favorite one, too.
Well, thank you. This is kind of a historic affair, I think. This whole weekend has been wonderful. So I'm going to play an old fiddle tune it's kind of a historic old fiddle tune, too. It's been played 1,000,000 times. I hope you'll enjoy it once more. Called the Orange Blossom Special. Take it away, Joe. Where's Grandpa? He's supposed to sing a verse. Oh,
They're yonder coming down the railroad track. Oh, they're yonder coming down the railroad track.
It's the orange blossom special. Bringing my baby back. All right. Thank you.
Everywhere we go, the little boys and girls want to do a tune about the old coon dog, old Rattler. Must be a little boys and girls out there. We love to sing about Rattler because, well, he was a smart dog. He done a lot of little odd jobs around the house. I didn't know he could read till I took him downtown one day, and there's a sign that said wet paint, and he did. Well, you could put a board out on the back porch, you know, like you stretch a coon hide on, you know how they've shaped, and he'd run and catch a coon to fit that board. And then you put a little one out there, and he'd run and catch a little one. The other day, Ramona set the ironing board out there, and we ain't seen him since. Oh, Rattler was a good old dog, blind as he could be. Every night at supper time, I believe the dog had seen. Here, Rattler, oh, oh, here, Rattler, here. Call old Rattler from the barn, here, Rattler, here. Now, Rattler treed the other night, thought he'd treat a coon. When I come to find it out, he'd barking at the moon. Yeah, yeah, here, Rattler, here. Call old Rattler from the barn, here, Rattler, here. Grandma had a yeller hen with set her eggs, you know. Set her on 3 buzzard eggs, hatched out 1 old crow. Yeah, yeah, here, Rattler, here. Call old Rattler from the barn, here, Rattler, here. Now, Grandpa had a muley cow, a muley when she was born. It took a jaybird 40 years to fly from horn to horn. Yeah, yeah, here, Rattler, here. Call old Rattler from the barn, here, Rattler, here. Ho, ho, hang it.
Grandpa Jones and all the Grandpa Jones family. Alisa,